Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you a general reading for the week of Monday, February 26th through Sunday, March 4th. Welcome. For those of you that are new to the channel, we are glad to have you here. Hopefully you will find something in today's reading that will help with your life, situation, things that you're going through at this time. To all my loyal subscribers, thanks. Glad to have you back. Thank you for subscribing and sharing the videos and commenting as to how they're helping you in your situation. I love the feedback that you guys share all the time, so thank you for that. For those of you that have made any donations, thank you. I bought us some new cards. I got a couple new decks of cards this week. They are not having us use them today, but maybe we'll use them next week and you'll get to check those out. Those are kind of neat. And let's see. So this week we actually have a full moon in Virgo on Thursday, the 1st of March. It's going to be around 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is, as with any full moons are a great time for releasing stuff. So releasing emotions, addictions, all of those things. But this full moon in particular is really good for releasing any of our illusions that we may have. You know, if we've been seeing things through rose-colored glasses, we're starting to get some clarity. Like maybe we really weren't listening to our intuition on something, and now we're kind of like getting the picture and realizing, okay, as much as I wanted this to work, okay, I really am finally accepting my intuitive guidance, my guides, my angels, the stuff they're giving me, and releasing those illusions. It's also a great time for releasing any addictions. It's an excellent time to acknowledge those things, accept those things, and let them go. It's also a really good time to detoxify your body, do some physical and emotional healing, release any of those emotions that are keeping you stuck. Anything and everything that's just got you from, it's got you stuck. If it has you stuck, if it has you in a state where you're not able to move forward, this is the perfect time for you to let that go so that you can bring your dreams into fruition, so you can actually have those come true. What you'll also find is it's a time that there's going to be a lot of like freedom, equality. There's going to be some truths exposed. Now we've been having that go on for quite a bit, but you're going to see a lot of it between this full moon and the next full moon. So a lot of truths will be exposed. Corruption, wrongdoing will be exposed. So these things are going to be coming to the light so that it can be healed, so that people can get freedom, people can get treated equal, that things can progress forward for many people worldwide. So for some of you, your own personal situations, they're saying for some of you, you've been going through like legal battles, and you've had a person or people or organization that has had you stuck, and some truths will be coming to light that is going to help free you from this legal battle, free you from this situation. That's going to help you finally get that adjudication that you've been waiting for, that final legal decision, so that you can press forward in your life. So the time has come. It is a full moon that's really going to help us have success and, you know, finally win, finally get that closure. It's also going to help for anyone that needs to think through a strategy. This is a time that you'll be able to come up with those creative, outside of the box ideas in order to be able to press forward. So that's enough on that. If you guys want to hear any information, of course, there's always tons of astrologist information online. You can always go online and get some of that. Now, this week I have prayed over the cards, shuffled. I've asked that each of you receives at least one message. Hopefully you should receive more than just one. Okay. If you're interested in the cards, this one's off the bottom of the deck. Actually, we'll hold on to it. If you're interested in the cards that I'm using this week, we have the Akashic Tarot by Sandra Ann Klinger and Sandra Ann Taylor. We have Doreen Virtue's Angel Tarot cards. We also have the Psychic Tarot deck by John Holland. And Doreen Virtue's Saints and Angels. And Judith Orloff's Surrender cards. I am actually going to also pull some runes here in a moment. And we'll see what we've got. We are going to have 3 different situations, which you can see. And like I said, hopefully each of you will receive at least one message. When I pray and prepare, I ask that all of you get at least one. However, do keep in mind this is a general reading for a large audience. So if you find that only one message is applicable to you, look at that as a good thing. That means things aren't as bad, or there's not as much work for you to do. That's actually a positive thing, because what you'll find is the angels each week are going to bring Angels are going to each week bring messages to people who need them most. So typically that is whomever needs information the most at that time, who's ever going through the most typically. Okay, let's make sure you guys can see these. Okay, we got a little room. So that's why it's good to look at it as a positive. So if you aren't showing up at the top of the angels' concern to get messages for you for the week, then that means it should hopefully not be too bad of a week for you. And that's something to be thankful for. Okay. Excellent. Now let's pull a couple runes. We're going to put this over here. Make sure you can still see those. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to move this so we can pick these up in a moment. And for those of you that are listening to this, we will pull at the end an angel answer card for each situation. So stay tuned for that. That will be at the end. We've got 1, 2, 3 situations. You have what your situation is, what has led to this situation, what is blocking or challenging you with regards to the situation, what's keeping you from moving forward, and then what the angels are recommending that you do this week in order to proceed forward. Now, we have 2 5s, and that's indicative of a lot of bickering and arguments and conflict and a lot of backstabbing by others. And this behavior affects the relationship, affects the partnership. A lot of drama. And it also is about needing to control our emotions, which can be a challenge when we're going through a lot of conflict with someone. And then there are 2 1s, and that's all about partnerships, particularly new partnerships. So for some of you, you have partnerships that are ending, relationships that are ending, in order for a new one to come in. Now, people in situation 1, you have summer and winter. This is 5 of forces. This is all about, how are you using your energy? What are you putting your efforts toward? It's about putting your efforts and energy toward the thing that is for your highest good, that's going to serve you, that's going to reap the harvest that you desire. It's also about, this is the time for you to take action. It's time for you to step forward. Because if this card was reversed, you actually have 2 scenes on this card, and they're upside down. So on the one scene, you've got winter, And that's all about reflecting, going inward, really looking at things, you know, what's working for us, what's not working for us, what do we desire, what's the outcome that we want. And then on the flip side, you have these farmers, they're bringing in their harvest. They've had a successful season, but they're really working hard to bring in the rewards, the things that they have worked so hard and tirelessly for. So for a number of you, you have done a lot of thinking, a lot of contemplation. You've been, some of you have been feeling like you were out in the cold or you left someone out in the cold, but you've done a lot of thinking. You're realizing that things aren't working for you, but it's time for you to do something about that, because you want a harvest, you want love, you want a solid foundation, you want someone that you can count on. You see, there's these two farmers that are working together. You want someone that you can count on, that is trustworthy, that you can build a foundation, you can build a family, you can build a home, you can build something with that will be successful, that will reap a harvest. You desire that, you want that. Now the interesting thing is there's poppies in this card, and poppies are typically about death. So in order for you to get there, for many of you, you've realized that a relationship that you were in is not working. You won't have this harvest, you won't have this abundance with that person, but if you can have the courage to end that relationship, to move forward, then you will. And taking the action to do so, because they're saying for a number of you, you've done a lot of thinking, introspection. You know that things aren't working for you. You know that you need to step in a new direction. You just haven't done it. Which is interesting because you have reflection, and this is a major arcana. This is, those of you that aren't familiar with tarot, when it comes to major arcanas, these are things that are destined, that are fated, that are really out of our control for the most part. And in this reading, people in situation 2, you have 2 major arcanas. People in situation 3, you have 1. And those of you in situation 1, you have 1. So everyone, this week, a lot of these things are going to feel as though they're out of your control. But it's to bring about the things that you desire. But this card, it's all about really being aware of our emotions and, you know, knowing. Okay, so for many of you, it's been some time for you to come to, they're like saying, coming to terms with your emotions, coming to terms with how you feel about a situation, about how you feel about a relationship. You see, there's this guy in this sailboat, and there's these 3 homes. And there's the moon, which is, you know, you've had a little bit of clarity, but not a lot. This isn't the sun. Things aren't brightly illuminated. You do have a slight path on the water illuminated, but it's not clear. It's not clear because you're not trusting your intuition. So many of you are being tested on your faith, to have blind faith, to step forward just trusting that you are going in the direction that God is leading you, that you're being divinely guided to go in. For many of you, it is leaving a relationship, a foundation, something that you've been trying to build with someone, in order to go into a new relationship. For some of you, then choosing between 2 other people. But this is about really finally, because the water's all about emotions, really coming to a state of acknowledging your emotions, acknowledging that things aren't working for you, things aren't making you happy, acknowledging that, okay, I do have feelings about this situation. I don't like how this situation is working, or and not feeling appreciated, not feeling valued. It's also about, you know, reflection, knowing the difference between, you know, finally coming to the state that we are aware of when we are getting intuitive information that pushes us forward to take action steps, because typically that intuitive information, the signs, the guidance that we get from our angels and guides, you know, when we get that information, it leaves us in a state of calm and a state of peace. Whereas if we're listening to those lower vibrational intuitive information, When those come through, those are things that we typically do like compulsively. We jump into it. It's of a lower vibration. It's not coming from our guides and angels that are trying to help us. It's coming from a lower place, but typically it's out of fear. So for some of you, this is about coming to a state where you are choosing a relationship. You are choosing someone to build a relationship, build a future and a foundation with, from a state of trust and faith. Because for some of you, it goes against what you typically do. It goes against your norm. Because in the past, they're saying what you have done is you have impulsively jumped into a relationship out of fear that you won't have one, out of also image, how things will be perceived. But this is a time of changing that, of shifting that, because you have grown, you have evolved. And they're congratulating you on that. But it's now, it's now getting in that sailboat and moving forward. And for many of you, that doesn't involve an ending. Because, so this rune, I don't know if you guys can see it because the camera is so high, but this is the journey rune. This is about communication. It's about union. It's about reunion. It would be upright. It is in the reverse. Now, upright, this is about something that has two sides, which is interesting because you've got two sides. One's upside down, one is upright. But it's about its journey. It's about coming into union, coming into a true love, a divine love, after you have been journeying for a very long time. So for many of you, it's about you are going to be moving into a relationship with your twin flame. It could be a soulmate. Some of you are leaving a soulmate relationship or someone you thought was a soulmate. Because one of them is the love that you seek, and one of them is not. And you have come to that realization, but now it's just moving in that direction. Now, in order to have that ultimate union, that ultimate connection, that solid foundation that you desire, it does require leaving, ending a journey. But it also comes about after you've done a lot of healing. You've made a lot of changes in your life. It's also something that can't be, that's interesting, it can't be forced because like this card is 5 of forces. So for some of you, you met a person, you thought, okay, I really want to build this relationship. I want to build this home. I want to have a partner I can count on. I want to reap this harvest. And you really pushed so hard. You've worked so hard to make it work. But no matter how much you've worked, you've always felt cold. You've always felt like you were left out in the cold. You didn't feel like you were appreciated. You didn't feel like you were valued. It's not worked out because it wasn't meant to work out. Because it's part of the journey. That person was to lead you to self-growth, self-healing, healing your heart, truly opening up to your emotions. Because for some of you, even though you've been in a relationship, you haven't really let your guard down. You haven't really opened up to the people that you've been in relationships with. Because for some of you, it's one person. For others of you, it's been multiple people. But this in reverse means that there's about to be an ending, a ruptured relationship, a breakup. And it's saying that it's a positive thing because ultimately that ending, which for some of you, you're going to be very frustrated because it's not how you wanted things to happen. It's not how you intended things to work out with this person. Some of you are going to beat yourselves up as though you've had a failure, but it's not a failure. Some of you are going to be really angry because of the blocks and the disruptions and the complete, they're saying complete ending, complete death, complete culmination of this. But it has to end. It has to. You want to build something with someone that can be counted upon. You want that foundation. You will not get it where you are, but they're trying to end where you are so that they can lead you to where you're meant to be, where you will have this happy union, where they're just rerouting you. You see, his ship didn't go under. He's not drowned. He's not dead. Things aren't over. He's just going in a new direction where he will have an opportunity with someone to build the things that he desires. So they're taking you from a dead end to something that will be fruitful, that is going to bring you the things you desire. They're rerouting your ship. You just need to allow them to do that. Now, as far as what has led to this situation, we have a Queen of Water. Tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, loving relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition and care for yourself and others. Now, let me make sure. See how high I have to hold these. Okay. This is what's led to the situation. So for some of you, for all of you, this is about you started a new relationship, or you took a relationship that you were in to a new level, but it wasn't the best relationship for you. Because if you see, these waters are really turbulent. And you see how these clouds are spiraling? So for many of you, this was it was a portalway. This person was very integral to your healing, to helping you heal so that you can move forward. Now, for some of you, this person could very well be a water sign. It's a female, so this is for masculine. Now, for those of you that are listening that are like, oh my gosh, that totally sounds like me, Nicole, but I'm not a guy, I'm a woman. If it sounds like your story, flip it. But for the majority of you, you're a male, divine masculine. You jumped into a relationship with someone that is not the person that you are intended, that you're being guided toward. And you offered your love to them. You offered your cup to them. For some of you, this person could have been a water sign. Could have been a Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. But for those of you in this situation, this is just someone that you were trying to build a foundation with. You were trying to make things work. But for some of you, you just felt like you were in a freaking hurricane. You see, this kind of looks like hurricane clouds, because it was filled with a lot of arguments and strife and conflict. But that's because you did not listen to your intuition. You tried to, they were talking about this runes about not pushing things. So for some of you, because you want this foundation, you want something so badly, you met this person and you just tried to push it. You tried to force it. You ignored your intuition and your insight that this is not the right person for you. So for some of you, you were running from another relationship. So for some of you, you had a marriage or a long-standing relationship end and you jumped into this new one. But for many of you, you jumped into a relationship out of fear. You were running from something. And you thought, okay, I can trust her. You were thinking, okay, I can build something with her. This could also be somebody that's like a dear, close friend. You're like, okay, we can make this work. And you jumped into this. And you were all in. But because it went against your intuition, it went against where you were being guided, it was effective in helping you heal and start to prepare to move in a direction that will bring you the happiness and things that you desire. But it was, for many of you, it was a compulsion. It was something you just compulsively jumped into without thinking it through, without listening to your intuition, actually going against your intuition. And so now you're at the state of you're trying to decide, okay, what do I do? And they're trying to give you peace, because for some of you, you beat yourselves up because you've had relationships with the same type of people, similar people. And there's something big about failures they keep bringing up. They're saying that you repeatedly feel like you are a failure. You are not. They've just been trying to help you heal, so that you can, instead of, because the people that you've repeatedly been in relationships with, these women are always the same. They could be cold. They could leave you out in the cold. They could make you feel like you're cold and alone. They're the complete opposite. So this is the scene upright. They are the complete opposite of the woman that they're leading you to. The woman who will be your partner, you can trust, you can count on, you can build something with. She'll also encourage you and be appreciative of the things that you offer and that you bring. But many of you are fearful. You're fearful of having a repeat, they're saying. Because one of the things that's blocking you from leaving this relationship, from moving forward onto a new path, you have the 3. This is recognition and reward. Traditional Tarot, this would be Pentacles. But this is all about success, completing something, a project, and the beginning, something that we've worked really, really hard for. Really patting ourselves on the back because we have done a good job. Now with love, this is about, coming together with someone, building a solid foundation with someone, moving forward together toward a common goal, toward a common outcome. But you started a relationship with someone that you were not on the same page. It felt like you were, just see all these mountains behind him? You've constantly felt like you were doing nothing but climbing one mountain after another and not getting anywhere. Because this isn't a couple, he's on his own. And he's looking actually defeated because he has his head down. Many of you, you are feeling defeated, you are feeling discouraged because you have again tried to build a relationship, a family. You've tried to build something solid with someone, only to come to a dead end again, only to come to an ending again. But you are not a failure. You see how this light is shining over his head? God is simply trying to wake you up to the fact that this is not good for you. This person is not good for you. These type of people are not good for you. For some of you, these relationships that you've jumped into are even on the reasoning that you're jumping into them is on faulty foundation, faulty reasons. So for some of you, maybe it's because you're terrified of being alone. So you'll jump into whoever's there. Some of you could be for more of addictive type relationships. There could be sexual addiction type things. But the reason that you've jumped into these relationships with people is not unconditional love. And God is trying to lead you toward unconditional love. For many of you, God is trying to lead you toward your twin, toward a soulmate, to someone where there's requited love. Because many of you, you've been going through an awakening, because this is illumination. Many of you have been going through a spiritual awakening. You feel like your entire life's been flipped upside down. But that's because they're trying to lead you somewhere better. They're trying to elevate your life. But you have to help them help you. As far as what they are recommending that you do, you have 2 cards. The first one is Surrender Procrastination. At the bottom it says, now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. So many of you, you feel as though you're rock bottom. You see he's all glum. He's got his head bowed down like, I can't do this anymore, God. I cannot do this. I try. I met her. I tried to build something with her. It was nothing but a horrible, craptastic storm. It was another nightmare, just like the last one that I was with. I don't think I can go on anymore. I don't have it in me to climb any more mountains. I just can't do anything. And some of you are feeling like, I don't feel like anybody would want to be with me. Because for some of you, the people that you've been with, because it's not founded on unconditional love, they have not been warm and supportive and loving. For some of you, they have torn you down. But God's trying to remind you that you're amazing, that you are worthy of being on a pedestal. You're worthy of receiving the gold. You're worthy of building something with someone on a solid foundation. But you feel like you're at rock bottom. You feel like you're at the bottom of the stairs. If you can see in this card, it's really dark down here. But as the stairs move up, there's the light, there's the illumination. But you have to start stepping forward up these stairs. For many of you, you're just stuck sitting in a ball on the bottom of the stairs, stuck in misery. And also some of you stuck in not taking any action because you're like, oh my gosh, this already isn't going well. What happens when I tell her that it's over? I'm sailing in a new direction. It's really going to be a shitstorm then. But the faster you proceed forward, the faster you'll be done and through it. And some of you, it's almost like they're saying it's almost like you're in the eye of the storm because relationship has been turbulent. There's going to be a little turbulence to get back out on the other side, but it's not going to be that bad. You'll be pleasantly surprised. But it does require you to start doing something. You have to start digging yourself out of this hole. You have to start taking the steps. You can no longer, they're saying for many of you, you've been putting this off for months. You can't put this off any longer. And for some of you, it's about remembering your own sweetness. This is the card Sweetness. You see this angel. She's kind of got that deer in the headlights look like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Deer signify innocence, adaptability, new doors opening up, protection, harmony, happiness. They're trying to get you into a situation, into a connection, into a union. Some of you already know this person, reuniting with, you're not speaking to them though, reuniting with someone that you are divinely guided toward who will bring you joy, who will bring you happiness. It will be a harmonious relationship. You won't constantly be in turbulent waters. You'll also have someone that's trustworthy because for some of you, they're saying that you get into relationships with people who lie to you. They're not honest with you. And honesty is very important to you. Which is why for some of you, you're like, oh my gosh, what in the world just happened? They're recommending that you remember that you are innocent. Because for some of you, you are beating yourselves up. They're saying to stop beating yourselves up. Stop beating yourselves up. You jumped in, you tried, you've learned, you've grown. Now it's time to stop beating yourself up. Be kind to yourself. Be adaptable. They are trying to open a new door for you. They're trying to take you into a new direction that will reap rewards, that will bring you the very things you've been praying for. But in order to do that, stop beating yourself up. You didn't do anything wrong. And even for those of you that, went against your guidance and jumped into a relationship with someone that you even were feeling like, okay, I shouldn't do this, or you're doing it because you're running away from someone else, whatever the reason, even that was meant to be because you've learned, you've grown. You've had to learn that you're deserving of something better because you are. Also, they're saying, remember that you are protected and start taking those action steps. Okay. Now, the bottom of the deck, we're going to cover this real quick. The bottom of the deck is the overall energy for everyone. And let's put this over here. It is a major arcana. It's the initiation and the Count Saint Germain. And you see these people, they're all standing in front of him. They're being initiated. You are being initiated. So these changes that you're going through, this transformation, it's not little, it's huge. It's a complete transformation of everything in your life. But it's a complete transformation because it's bringing you to a higher state, a higher level, a higher power, a higher level of achievement, a higher level of joy, bliss, happiness, the things that you've desired. Not temporary happiness, not let's put a Band-Aid on it, while meanwhile we're bleeding out, but really, truly having happiness, having support, having requited love. We're going to go into some work and some other things, but elevating your entire life. But in order for you to reach this higher level, in order for you to elevate your life into something greater, into something better, you have to step into these new beginnings. You have to let those old habits, old patterns, old people, Relationships, jobs, you have to release that. You have to let go. You can't take it with you. You can't take them with you where you're going. You just can't. Many of you have been resisting these changes. And the more that you've resisted, the harder it has become. But if you can surrender and know God's not trying to punish you. God's just trying to take away those things that aren't good for you anyhow. Jobs that you're not happy at. Relationships you're not happy in. Because for some of you, this relationship that you're in, you've been putting on a fake happy face like, oh, this is great, but you're miserable. You can share a lie with other people, family and friends, social media, but you can't lie to yourself. And you know you're miserable. You know you're unhappy. You want true happiness. Let God lead you. God is trying to lead you to true happiness, but you have to stop resisting. And they're saying for those of you in the other situations too, let go, let God. God is simply taking the old, and for those of you this week, it's a fated change. Allow it to happen. Allow it to unfold. Because once God has released you from this, then you have space for Him to bring in some miracles, to bring in the love of a lifetime, to bring in the family you desire, to bring in the career you desire, to bring in the happiness you desire. But you have to let it go. And have strength, because for many of you, it's kind of like a pressure cooker. You're at the final stages in your pressure cooker. Okay, situation 2, you have one of keys, and it's the Architect, and this card keeps coming up over and over again. But this is about, it would be coins in traditional tarot. It's about value and wealth and success. It's about our careers. This is about really stepping into our power, taking control, taking charge. Overcoming blocks, like when we've had a block or a delay or something fall through, really overcoming that. Thinking of a new plan. Continuing to have faith, not giving up, not quitting just when we've lost a battle. Because when you're going through a long war, you're going to lose some occasional battles. It's par for the course. But you're going to win the war. And that's really what matters. So it's not all about letting those little battles, those little hurdles, those blocks, those delays stop you from building this magnificent palace. Some of you have been dealing with some people that are very deceptive, that have lied to you. People you thought you could count on, people that you thought were loyal, that you thought had integrity. It's been a real battle for you. The rune that you have, this is the rune of wholeness, and it can't be a reverse. It's the same way either way, but this is about our life force, our energy, but it's about victory. You are going to have victory. This is about a spiritual warrior. You are a spiritual warrior. You are. Now, for you to get through this battle, it does require a lot of strength. And it's also about letting God work through you, because for many of you, you've been fighting this battle. For many, it's like a legal battle. And you've been fighting it, and it just seems like nothing is going right. Now, the reason it's not going as right is because some people do not have the correct motives. So when you have a warrior that goes out and their motives are correct, their intentions are coming from the right place, not from a state of greed. But when they've got the right motives and they just allow God to work through them, it doesn't matter how many hurdles they have thrown at them, they will overcome it, and they will have victory because they are a warrior. They are one of God's warriors. Those of you in this situation, you are one of God's warriors. You will have victory. One of the interesting things to know is that if you are facing a lot of adversity, let me fix my mic. Okay. If you are facing a lot of adversity and your heart's in the right place, that just means you're heading toward big things. You're making great changes. You are heading in the direction that God wants you, especially in this time. They're saying don't give up. Because what's led to that is you have this is major arcana, this is unity. And at the bottom it says traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations seek out mentors and like-minded friends. But this is about having a network of friends and family and people that are around you that are just very supportive, like-minded. They're loyal. They have integrity. You can count on them. You can trust them. They have high morals, ethics, standards. Unfortunately, what has led to this is you thought you were dealing with people that had ethics and morals and standards and were trying to take care of you, were trying to do right by you, but they were not. But you are protected. You are divinely guided. See, he's got this halo over his head. Now he's looking at some of these orbs like, people look in the magical ball like, what in the world is going on? Many of you are kind of in that state like, what in the world? But I thought I could count on this person. I thought this person cared for me. I thought this person was loyal. I thought they wanted to help me. I thought this person had integrity. But they're shady shyster. But you've been feeling stuck because these people that you thought were in your corner that were not, that stuff has been coming to light. For some of you, there's going to be even more the next couple of weeks coming to light, but that is going to remove these restrictions, these blocks, because you've been fighting this for a very long time. You're like, oh my gosh, when is something actually going to break? When is something actually going to move forward? But these people, for some of you, it's one person, it's multiple people. But the people, they have not, for some of you, they have not treated you fairly. And for some of you, you have lost faith. You see how this is a bunch of different religious symbols? So for many of you, it's a group, it's an organization that you thought you kind of count on, and you have lost faith in that group. You have lost faith in those people because they were to be your leaders. They were to help you. They were to guide you. They were to assist you. You thought you could count on them. But truth be told, it came out that you could not. And some of you are just really questioning now, who can you even trust? That is causing a little bit of blocks. As far as what is blocking your challenging, you have authority. And this is a major arcana. It's the Emperor card. This is about power, authority. It can be about someone who's masculine. It's about fairness. It can be, someone who's logical, who has strength and wisdom and power. It's about good reasoning, being able to solve problems by thinking things through in a grounded, logical way. Not allowing ourselves to be overcome by emotions. So for some of you, what is blocking you is there is a person in an authoritative position over you. For many of you, it is a man. See how his arms are covering? It's like in a defensive stance. So for many of you, you have been dealing with someone who's not budging. They're not giving. For some of you, they have no emotions. But not to give up, because you are going to overcome. They're saying there's a song called You're an Overcomer. You're an overcomer. So Google that. There's a song out there. But you are going to have success. You are going to win. You are going to have victory. Not to give up. Because God is going to break this person down. Now, for others of you, because it has been very difficult, you have become very guarded to anyone that can help you. You are going to need some assistance at this point. So to not be so guarded. But it's not to allow your emotions to overrun everything. So, because you're at a pivotal point, you are near the end, to look at things logically, reasonably, because you do have some assistance coming in. Now, as far as what they're recommending, you have surrender to miracles, because God is bringing you. For many of you, you're thinking, this just isn't going to happen. This is going to work. This is not going to work in my favor. You do have these two pillars. Many of this is a legal thing, but it is going to take a miracle to work this in your favor. But God is bringing you a miracle. Make no mistake about that. But you have to surrender to that miracle. At the bottom it says, be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. You got this moon. So for many of you, you're like, oh my gosh, just when I think I have things figured out, I don't. There's another issue. I don't have clarity. I don't know who I can trust. I don't know who I can't trust. I don't know when this misery, this is going to ever be over. But it will soon. But a lot of the miracle dolphins are great because they can give us courage when we need it. They're all about having the confidence to step forward, to move forward courageously when we are in the midst of turbulent waters. And many of you have been in this turbulent, difficult situation for a long time. You've been facing a lot of adversity. But remember, God's not going to fail you in this, because those of you that are fighting this, you are coming from the right place. The adversity that you've been facing has not been. But any good story, those like remarkable stories that you're just like, oh my gosh, it just totally touches your heart, it's always the good guy that wins, or good gal that wins. It's always God's team that wins. It's always God's warrior that wins. It's always the spiritual warrior. It's always the person that's coming from the right place. Those of you in this situation, you are coming from the right place. You are guaranteed success. God is going to come in and help you and provide you a miracle. And He is going to come squealing in at like the 11th hour, just when you think all hope is lost. But keep moving forward. You are going to be receiving, dolphins are also signs of clarity. You are going to be getting the clarity that you need. They are trying to renew your faith, renew your positive outlook. So for some of you, this has been going on for so long, you are having difficulty seeing a positive outcome. You're having difficulty seeing positive results. To visualize positive results will help you. It will help clear that path. You are, dolphins are also signs of protection. You are protected. You are protected. Dolphins are resurrection. They're trying to resurrect your faith, your optimism, also your faith in others, faith in humanity. Don't let a few bad eggs ruin the bunch. Because and they're saying trust that you do have a miracle coming. Now, they're not saying, okay. Those of you that want to know when is God really going to come squealing into this parking lot and help me? That depends upon you. They're not going to give the time frame because A, it's different for everyone, but it does hinge on you opening up to those miracles. One way to do that is to release the fear, the doubt, the worry. There's some anger tied. Anger toward people, anger toward the situation. But release that. We do have this full moon. Use this full moon. Let that stuff go. You have the Holy Spirit. This is peaceful. The Holy Spirit is helping you, is influencing this entire situation. Not only Holy Spirit is opening the minds of these people that are in the authority positions over you. For some of you, it's one person. For others, it's multiple people. But God and the Holy Spirit are opening their minds. They are opening their hearts to everyone that's involved in this situation. They're also opening their eyes to the truth. Because for some of you, they did not realize the truth of the situation, but they're opening their eyes to that. They're also opening them up to compassion and compromise, and to seeing others' views, and also to assisting you. Because again, they were saying for some of you, you're totally blocked off. You are going to need some help from some people in higher places. You're going to need the help from an authority figure. God, the Holy Spirit angels, they're trying to, and they are in the process of opening those up in those levels that can assist you, but you need to allow them to assist you. And the way that you can help with that is to do a little forgiveness. So yes, you have been wronged. People have lied to you. They have deceived you. They have lacked integrity. People that you thought you could trust and count on showed you that you could not. But this is the time for you to forgive them this week. Totally forgive them. It's going to bring you to a state of peace, because the anger is only hurting you, and it's only blocking this miracle from coming in. Because if you have anger and you're frustrated and you're thinking that no one is helping you, no one is out there, no one is assisting you, that is what you're manifesting, which is why no one's assisting you. No one's opening up. God, the Holy Spirit, the angels, they can try, and Jesus, they can try all day long to open these people up. But if your belief is that this is not going to work out positively, that everyone is against you, that you have no one that you can count on, no one that's going to help you, that's why you keep seeing that. So this week, do some forgiveness. Use that full moon. Do some forgiveness that you can open this up. Forgive those that have done you wrong, but remember, not everyone's going to do you wrong. Forgive them so you can let that go and release that. And then step into a state of faith and optimism, knowing, okay, I know that there were people that were out there that I couldn't trust, that didn't have integrity, that did me wrong, that lied to me, deceived me. It's a little different for all of you. But I know that they're only a bad egg and a good bunch, and a bunch of good eggs. And I know that someone out there is going to help me, is going to assist me. I trust that God is going to come through with a miracle for me. And then if you can visualize success and know that this is going to work out in your favor, know that you have help coming, know that it's going to work out well, release that resentment, anger. Visualize it, know it's going to be positive. That will open up the path for the miracles to come in and for this to finally be over. So, sounds easy. You have a good, powerful week to be able to do it. Hopefully you can do that. Okay. Last situation, Two of Scrolls. This is Two of Worlds. Now, traditional tarot, this would be swords. This is all about mind, thinking. Many of you are stuck in a state of conflict. You're really having a lot of internal conflict. If you look at this card, there's this Buddhist monastery behind her out the window. And then there's all this money. She's been working hard, really spinning, putting together, earning a lot of cash. So many of you, you're torn between deciding between two people, two paths. So for some of you, okay, for most of you it's about love, but so for some of you, let's say it's careers. So let's say you've worked with the same company for a very long time and oh man, you've moved up, you're a mid-level manager, you're making a lot of cash, but all of a sudden you've gone through this spiritual awakening and you're being guided to completely change careers. Or you've gone through, and you're being guided to change into a spiritual career. For some of you, you've gone through the spiritual awakening, and all of a sudden, this company, this organization that you've worked for, they aren't in alignment with who you are. They aren't in alignment with your integrity and your beliefs. And you're like, oh, but there's so much money. You feel that it is time for you to go in a completely new direction, but you're having a hard time with that. For some of you, it's between two people. Some of you, you've stayed in a marriage, in a relationship, just for money. And they're divinely guiding you toward a... Okay, for most of you, this is about love, and this is about you being guided toward your twin flame. You've got flames in the fire, flames on her heart, and flames behind there. And flames by Archangel Michael. So for most of you... Masculine. Okay. So for most of you, this is for the divine masculine. You are being divinely guided to move forward with your twin flame, the divine feminine. But you're having a really difficult time with it. You've turned your back on her. You've turned your back on the divine guidance, the direction that they're trying to take you. For some of you, it could be because you're in a relationship, or it could be some business partnership relationship tied to money. But you've always had your focus on money. money, money, money. And you're having a difficult time changing your focus onto something more spiritual, having faith. But it is a big conflict between love, spirit, divine guidance, and then just between the materialistic, the earthly plane. But you're not happy. And you're having a lot of difficulty with the decision. For some of you, the things that you've done, the decisions that you've made in the past have not always come from from where you are now. Because every decision we make is the decisions that we're supposed to make that help us with our growth with where we are. But you have grown, you have evolved, you have gone through a spiritual awakening. What has motivated you to make decisions with relationships in the past, does not work for you now. So say in the past you chose relationships based off of money. You know, I'm going to go into this partnership with this person because I'm going to make money, they're going to make money. Or you chose to go into a relationship because they're saying kind of like a relationship, but it was an open relationship, so it could give the image, but because you were still focused on money. It wasn't like love-based. For some of you, a relationship that you jumped into for sexual reasons or addictions, maybe you both had an alcohol problem or whatever, but that worked for you at that time. That reason that you chose those relationships at that time, it worked. But you've grown, you've evolved, you're a better you. Staying in those relationships, choosing relationships for that now feels wrong. It doesn't, they're saying it doesn't give you a sense of pride. Because if you look on the inside of this house, it's very dark and dreary. There's even smoke. And then when you look outside, you have flags, banners. It's like a festival, a party, celebration, light. But it's a big change for you. So many of you are having a hard time facing and going in that new direction. Some of you are fearful of spinning your wheels. Now, for your rune, you have self, and it's actually supposed to be upright, but it's in reverse. Okay, I'm actually going to, see if I can get my book. They want me to actually read it, because many of you are having a very difficult time. Let's see here. You are having a very, very difficult time because the decisions that you've made in the past don't align with who you are at this time. They may have been made for selfish reasons, monetary reasons, reasons for addictions, but it doesn't work for you any longer. Okay. So I'm going to read this for the upright meaning, which would be here, but then reversed. So, because what they're saying is, the reason it's reversed is because you're fighting, you're resisting this change. They brought you to a state of it being upright, but because you're fighting the change so much, that's why you're reversed. So, upright self, this is... The starting point is the self. The essence is water. Only clarity, willingness to change is effective now. A correct relationship to yourself is primary, for from it flow all possible right relationships with others and with the divine. Remain modest. That is this oracle's counsel. Regardless of how great may be your merit, be yielding, devoted, and moderate, for then you have a true direction for your life. Be in the world, but not of it. And yet do not be closed-minded, narrow, or judging. Rather remain receptive to impulses flowing from the divine within and without. Strive to live the ordinary life in a non-ordinary way. Remember at all times what is coming to be and passing away, and focus on that which abides. Nothing less is called for you now. This is a time of major growth and rectification, and as a rule, rectification must come before progress. The field is tilled, therefore the seed is tilled, therefore the seed is planted. The garden is weeded before the flowers bloom, and the self must know stillness before it can discover its true song. Instead of seeking credit for accomplishments or focusing on results, be content to do your task for the task's sake. Herein lies the secret of experiencing a true present. If you take the rune of self and you cut it down the middle, it's a mirror, you will see the rune of joy with its mirror image. There is here a subtle caution against carelessness. The self is required to balance the self. Nothing in excess was the second phrase written over the gateway to the Temple of Delphi. The first counsel was know thyself. So for many of you, and then I'm going to read the verse section. So for many of you, because you've been focused on money, the intent, the things that you've been going towards. So for some of you, you have not gone toward a family or creating a family out of fear of not having enough, or just focused on money, focused on, I don't want to say greed, but focused on those monetary things. And the rectification, so for some of you, this is worried about wealth. Maybe you're going through divorce and splitting things, and you're fearful that, okay, I don't want to give up half my money. I want to give up half my money to her, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose anything. And for some of you, it really is taking that time to go inward. Some of you, you're fearful of actually starting a if you're fearful of starting a family, there's concerns about money. But you have plenty of financial abundance. So, now it's reversed. The reverse meaning, because many of you are blocked, you're stuck, says, if you feel blocked, Manaz urges you to begin by being clear with yourself. Do not turn to others now, but look inside, in silence, for the enemy of your progress. No matter what area of your life is in disarray, stop and consider. You will recognize the outer enemy as a reflection of what you have not, until now, been able or willing to recognize as coming from within. Above all, do not give yourself airs. Breaking the momentum of past habits is the challenge here. In the life of the Spirit, you are always at the beginning. For many of you, again, it's perfect time. Rectifying past, letting past habits, behaviors, addictions, allowing those things to go so that you can have this beautiful beginning. Some of you, though, what has led to this is the culmination and ending. This is a major arcana. It's the world. At the bottom, it says a job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, the path toward enlightenment. This is all about completing something of significance, of great importance. Really being congratulated on a job well done, because you've done it, you've closed it, you've wrapped it up, you've closed that chapter. You're ready for a new beginning now. You are ready for the next chapter of your life because you've had the courage to wrap that up. So for some of you, you've had a relationship end, or a relationship has come. Oh, that's funny. So for some of you, you're situation one and you're situation two. So for some of you, you've had a relationship that, okay, it's at the ending point, but you haven't had the courage yet to end it. But you need to end this. So for some of you, it was like a karmic lesson that you were learning. So for some of you, that it's a similar type of person that you repeatedly pick. It was simply, you see, you got a wheel, you got a wheel, you got a wheel. It was simply a karmic lesson, a karmic cycle for you to learn and to close. Slap that book shut, done. But in order to have the new chapter, it does require closing this old chapter. For some of you, you have ended So for some of you, you're a twin flame. You're a masculine twin flame. You ended a relationship with a karmic partner. The karmic partner, the relationship was founded on money, finances. For some of you, even the person made you doubt whether you can care financially for someone. For some of you, she could have been a real witch. You've got a broom there. Witches fly on the brooms. Okay. But you ended it. You made it through that. Congratulations. But now God has brought you this new beginning. You are a twin flame. You have the opportunity to have the love of a lifetime, the very thing that you desire. But you have your back to it. You have your back to her. Because there's a lot of fear. What's blocking or challenging you? It's interesting. This is in this deck. This would be a spirit card. It's passion ignited. This is about allowing your soul. This would be a wands card. But it's in this deck, it's called spirit. It's about letting your soul soar, letting yourself experience bliss. See, she's like stretched back and an orgasmic. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's about new beginnings that are blissful, happy. It's also about feeling as though you have a sense of purpose and being excited and energized about this new start. It's a problem. Many of you are not excited and energized. I mean, look how beautiful this new beginning is. It's a divinely ordained, a divinely guided new beginning that you have your back to. That will bring you everything that you want. But you lack the excitement. You're not opening your heart to it. That is why you are blocked. For some of you, you're not opening your heart to it because you abruptly pulled someone else into the mix. So for some of you, these two houses here, this was your karmic partner that they're congratulating you. You finally ended that cycle, because for some of you, they're saying that went on for 10 plus years. So you finally ended that cycle, that person. They're like, woohoo, he's finally ready. See that you've got these infinity symbols. Archangel Michael watches over twin flames. He's like celebrating. He's like, yes, he finally got rid of her. Praise God. We can finally get him in with his twin and moving forward. And then all of a sudden, out of fear, you jumped into a relationship with someone else, which was just similar to the ex-karmic person that you ended with. But because you would not allow yourself to this bliss, you would not allow your passion, your heart to be set on fire, to have this blessed new beginning, you're stuck. So in order to overcome that, they are encouraging you this week to just surrender. Surrender to wonder and awe. Because this relationship that they're guiding you to they're saying will take your breath away. At the bottom it says, open to the magic of every moment and the sense of awe and wonder in all of life. The attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. Again, she's leaning back in ecstasy. Allow yourself to open up to that. Surrender to that. And then you have child. They're encouraging you this week to have, children are very trusting. They're very innocent. They have faith. They just trust that everything's going to work out. They don't fear and fret like, oh, what if this doesn't work out? And what if this ends up bad? Some of you, what if I end up being used for money again? What if I'm on the same cycle, just spinning in circles again? They're encouraging you to be like a child, to trust. Many of you have gone through hell to get to this point. But that's because you're here to do amazing things. You are here to have the love of a lifetime. You're here to be amazed. And a lot of good things are coming in, but it's taken a lot of work to get there. I mean, you're twin flame. It's not easy. But they're encouraging you to be like a child, to trust that this is going to work out positively. It's going to be amazing. Have faith. Know that it is going to work out for the best. They're trying to get you to go into this. And apparently my neighbors choose right now to walk the dog. Miss Allie. Miss Allie. So what they're encouraging you to do, because they're saying from some of you, you stubbornly have your back turned to this opportunity. You're fearful it won't work. You're fearful you're going to be spinning your wheels. You're fearful things are going to turn out the same way they have in the past. They're encouraging you to have faith, to trust it's going to work out. They're also encouraging you to embrace, because child is a new beginning. Embrace embrace this new beginning. Embrace this fresh start. They're saying to stop fighting it. For some of you, they're saying also innocence. Children are very innocent. For some of you, there's innocence. There's something with innocence tied to your twin. Something, she's innocent. Okay, there's been miscommunication. There's been some things that have been misconstrued because they haven't even been communicated. So it's not even like a miscommunication because the two of you didn't even have the communications about it. But things aren't what you think they are. She's innocent. Whatever these thoughts are that you have, they aren't correct. But it does require communication at some point that you will have. But the first step is for you to accept this new beginning, to open up to it, to also make this choice. So hopefully that helps. Let's pull some angel cards real quick. Angel answer cards. The one card that they told me to, that's for you guys. Okay. So this was a card that was on the bottom of that deck. And when I went to put it off to the side, they told me to pull the card off the bottom of the deck. For those of you in situation 3, this is for you. It's look deeper. There's something in this situation. For most of you, this is, okay. For those of you in this situation, you are twin flames. You are the divine masculine twin flame connection. There is something that you are not seeing because you are refusing to look at it. Many of you, you are refusing. You see this river behind the child. Many of you you're refusing to look at. There's all this water around Archangel Michael. You refuse to look at it because in order to look at it and face it, you have to look at and face your emotions. You have to also allow yourself to open up to deep, true emotions. And that's for some of you why you are fighting it so much. But fighting it and staying in the direction that you are in, or the direction that you continue going in, or the direction that you, for some of you say, you spin your wheels. So for some of you, you repeatedly spin back to a person from the past, the karma curse you're supposed to be letting go of. But they're saying for most of you, they actually brought this to a culmination. Some of you might be reconsidering going back to it, or you're the people that are also the ones in situation A where you jumped into the boat with someone that's the exact same. But dig deep. Really look at things. There's things that, truths that they want to reveal to you. Okay, so for everyone, if you feel like you're in situation 1, think of a question. If you feel like you're in situation 2, think of a question. If you feel like you were in, oh, that's funny. If you feel like you were in situation 3, think of a question. I'm going to pull one angel answer card for each of you. Let's move these down a little bit. Okay, so yours. Okay, and we'll show you guys the bottom. Okay, so situation 1, you have yes with the exclamation point, because there are 2 yeses in this book. And one is just a regular yes, and then you've got the yes with the exclamation point. Okay. Bravo, the decision you've made is the right one. There's no need to continue to sort through additional options. You know what to do and you should move forward with your plans. You've made the correct choice for your personal growth and development. However, some decisions can be a true challenge. If the task ahead of you is daunting or even sad, then proceed with your plans in a way that is life-affirming and self-loving. Ask your angels to be with you every step of the way, and don't hesitate to call upon friends and family for support. Okay, those of you in situation 2, that's funny. You know, they were saying earlier that they wouldn't give a time frame which you were going to be receiving the miracles. You have the card. It's up to you. Because again, it's up to shifting your perspective. Releasing the anger and those things that we were talking about. The end result of the situation you asked about is entirely in your hands. You can affect the outcome by taking a proactive approach to solving any challenges. Stand in your own power and have confidence that you have what it takes to bring about a happy ending. Don't wait for someone else to rush in and take charge. In order to come to a successful conclusion, the situation requires your unique perspective and experience. People in situation 3, there's something better. Heaven has something wonderful in mind for you. However, it's not the same thing you have planned. Ask yourself what you would rather have, the very thing you're asking for, or something that would make you much happier and more fulfilled. Sometimes God has joys in store for us that we could never imagine on our own. Open your mind and heart to the possibility that you deserve even more than what you're asking for. Trust your angels to guide you in new and exciting directions. And I left at the bottom of the deck because those of you in these 3 situations, you are all going through your initiation. You are all being elevated to a new chapter, a new phase of your life that is going to blow your mind, that is the very things that you have been praying for. If you can have the courage to do these things that they have been guiding you to do, because for some of you, these changes they've been guiding you to do, because it is such a big change. I mean, this isn't just a, oh, hey, I'd like to change the paint color in my bedroom. No, these are massive, monumental, huge changes in your life. So it's been taking months. For some of you, it's been taking a couple years, but you are coming to that culmination point. You are almost there. You really are. If you can have the courage to take these final steps in order to lift your life to that level, that new phase, to finally have the prayers that you've been praying for so long finally be answered. It does require these final things. But if you look at the scheme of it, you've been doing a whole lot of work for the past couple of years. What's a couple little things over these next couple months? You can do it. If you can do it, you will have big, happy changes. So, I hope that helps all of you. I wish you an amazing week filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.